Hello, folks. I greet you one more time. Let's enhance your viewing. And on Homo Politicus, on Enterprise TV, we make you the judge. Today, America decides 2024. The polls swing in First Lady's favor, or I should say former First Lady's favor. You know, it's election year in Uncle Sam's country, the United States of America, and of course, in the build-up to the epoch, the lead in the presidential race has widened between incumbent Joe Biden and Republican challenger Donald John Trump, more so after Mr. Biden's unsettling performance during the debate. The anxiety in the Democratic camp in the build-up is not without a foundation. 81-year-old Biden is not a one-term helmsman, but is considered not strong enough to face a fiery Donald Trump, who is 79. Curiously, however, a latest Reuters Ipsos poll tends to suggest that Joe Biden should drop out of the race in hypothetical matchups with Democratic candidates other than Biden. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is favored to defeat Trump at the ballot. But is America ready for a female commander-in-chief? Let's have a debate. And my debating minds today are none other than the unputdownable Emeka Madonagu. Emeka, welcome.
Hello.
Emeka is a journalist and national and international affairs commentator. And he's joined by Barrister Evans Ufeli, the no-nonsense mind. He believes a lot in Rabbi, so let's expect Rabbi to guide him here.
Very well.
I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah, gentlemen, welcome to the debate. Yeah, America's election is not until November, but again, the build-up begins from here.
Yes.
And we talk about the debate, and on the other side, there's a reference to the Gallup poll. How do you reconcile both? Emeka?
Well, there are different factors at play. There's the fallout from the debate with the Democrats in a panic mode, and seriously considering whether whether to increase the pressure on Biden to step away from the race. And those polls are actually...
And the White House is saying no?
Yeah, he even said so, at the fundraiser said no. In an email, fundraiser email, he said no, that he's not stepping away. Because it will be almost impossible to ask him to step away. So he will have to do that himself, voluntarily. So, but it's the betting companies like Polymaker, they're actually piling so much pressure, betting seriously that, Biden will voluntarily step away. And so it has heightened the debate about the likely outcomes.
Yet the day you and I know will belong to the voter.
Yes, it will belong to the voter, but American politics, the way it works, is not a straightforward thing like Nigeria, PDP, APC, no. There are a lot of, things, a lot of factors that come to play, even to the last count, to the last day. A number of factors come into play. And so it will, the demographics also matter. Demographics matter seriously. Both candidates are old. One is in his 80s, one is on the edge of 80. If one of them was a younger candidate, that might count, seriously. But again, you also have to look at the fact that global events, the Ukraine war, the Israeli onslaught against Hamas, and all of that, are getting Americans wearied, and funny enough, America has always prided itself as an ally of Israel, but now Americans are getting tired of all this war. So there are different factors that will shape it, but the betting companies are really working so hard to get down to the head of the nail, to push the nail.
But you and I know that the ballot will determine the outcome.
Well, at the end of the day, we'll see how
Emeka, we're talking about the United States of America.
Yeah, the ballot now depends on who will be on the ballot.
Okay, all right. I get the point there. Evans, in America, they talk about popular votes as opposed to electoral college.
Yes.
Let's mention two candidates who won by popular votes but lost because the electoral college rejected them. In the year 2000, Al Gore won by popular votes, but the electoral college threw him out. In 2016, Hillary Clinton, a former first lady, won by popular votes, but lost at the other votes. So look at Biden and Trump. Trump lost to Biden the last time in 2020 by popular votes. He won the popular votes.
Yes.
But the electoral college threw him out.
Yes. Yes. One thing very significant about this year's election in the United States is that both parties have been tested 4 years, both sides. I mean, Trump led the US for 4 years, one term. And now Biden has done close to about 4 years now, because now we have an election. So the two parties have been tested. Now, Americans are better informed as to the capacity of the two of them. Americans are informed to that effect. Then if you look at
the operative word here is capacity.
Yes, the capacity of both parties. I mean, the
And
economy.
and candidates.
Yes, the economy under Trump came back to shape. Okay, and apart from the issues of immigration that Trump was very vigorous about, which he was criticized heavily against, and the issue of the LGBT.
Has he shifted from that position?
No, it has deteriorated. Now, that's what I mean. So it has deteriorated. What we now have is a case of the American economy going through serious challenge. Inflation is on the whole, and the basic thing about this is that the basic line is that the polls usually do not determine the pulse of the electors. It does not. This is why I say it does not because during the build-up to Trump's first coming, okay, we saw a lot of polls, different ones. Some of them are skewed towards influencing people's decision. Okay, some of them are skewed towards games. Okay, and hardly will you find a poll that that captured the generality of the entire country, the number of states that are going to the polls. Okay, you hardly find one that represent all. They are all coming from different interests and all that. So I do not believe that the polls is anything to go by, that we can rely on that and make projections and conjectures. I don't think so.
All right.
But I think that Americans will pull out and make their choice. And then the process will follow the process. If you begin to look at it state by state, you see how
Because
that...
I know you know about swing states and all that.
Yes.
The supposed blue and red states.
Yes.
Emeka, deserving in nomination is different from deserving the presidency.
Yeah.
They're two different kettles of fish.
Yes, actually, Biden believes that he's the man to beat. That and he has
So,
said it,
according to him, he deserves the nomination.
yes. he believes he deserves the nomination, and he has said so clearly. Even Barack Obama Barack Obama has said so, that, he said bad debate nights happen, but that Biden is someone who cares for the people, while the other fellow, Donald Trump, cares only about himself. So Americans are wary of, a Trump presidency, because many things he's been saying are actually sending jitters down the spines of people, especially immigrants. Biden has had a more relaxed, stance towards immigration. And some analysts are looking at it that might very definitely count in his favor. Immigration, that might definitely count in his favor. The number that you might have as much as 10 million new
votes,
yes,
okay.
coming in. So that counts a lot. Then again, Michelle Obama has said many times that she's not interested, in running for president, and of course, some months ago she said she was terrified about the possibility of Donald Trump winning the election. And so what is happening is that it's been expected that some top Democrats might tell Joe Biden to quit. But Biden said he has undergone a medical checkup. And Barack Obama came out to say, yes, that bad debate nights happen. Yes, it's unfortunate. But, so what it means now is that Joe Biden is going to seriously rely on people like Obama to help him swing sentiments, swing sentiments.
And emotions.
Yes, because people believe that if Obama were in power, they wouldn't have allowed Netanyahu a free hand in the war, Gaza. The war in Gaza. He wouldn't have allowed him a free hand. That Joe Biden has allowed Netanyahu a free hand. So that has made
to ride roughshod, as they say.
Yes, that has kept progressive-minded members of Democratic National Convention a bit away from Biden. But if Obama weighs in heavily, like he has been doing, in Biden's favor, he has a lot of influence among them. He can pull them in. Then his wife, Michelle, if she doesn't end up as the nominee, definitely being African American, and her influence resonating well with with black women, will do a lot to sway them in Biden's, favor. You see, of course, Donald Trump, he just is basically trying to ride on sentiments, and
but Biden's first coming has not helped matters.
Yes,
but
it has not. But don't forget.
Trump is said to be favored by the so-called white supremacists.
Well, they didn't help him to win the second time.
Most of them voted against him because he was high-handed, according to some many.
And the January 6th event is not lost on.
Yes. So these are conservatives.
So Trump did a lot of psychological damage to Americans, in a manner of speaking, saying that loosely. People develop very restrictive perception about his style of leadership.
Yeah,
his style was almost like bringing the White House to the ground. Anybody that talks, you tweet directly as a president. On his exit, what happened at the Capitol? Yes, the seeming upsurge of which led to his trial and all that, and the outcome of the trial. So these are bad brands. I mean, he has built around himself.
So the latest pronouncement by the U.S. Supreme Court, which suggests that a former president can have immunity
for official actions.
Yeah,
official actions.
Might or might not affect the outcome.
No, the act itself, which was highly condemnable by Americans, okay, he is exonerated from everything by virtue of that reach, but that the deposit that has left in people is what I'm talking about. The perception his action have left in the average electors is what I'm talking about. That is not a positive one. And because it's not a positive one, some Americans will be on the crossroad. Because if you look at Trump's end of the narrative, you are seeing something not very clear. And when you go back to Biden's angle, you are seeing one that have not managed the economy proper. And both sides, perhaps they need a third option for Americans. And that is why many of them in those polls are swaying towards Michelle Obama, who is not in the race, who is not interested in the race. But polls like that will tell you that both ends seem not to, the two sides seems like a dilemma, and then they are looking for another option somewhere. That is what that polls and those votes speak to me.
Emeka, another element that helps at a time like this for a serious-minded country like the US would be looking at the pedigree of President Reagan in the build-up to Reagan presidency. You remember the hostage crisis was on, and just before Reagan was announced as president, one of his campaign promises was, "I'll free the hostages as soon as I'm sworn in." But the hostages were released just before he was sworn in. So talks about influence and so on.
Yeah. If you juxtapose it with the experience of Lyndon B. Johnson, his handling of the Vietnam War
after JFK was killed.
Yes, it damaged him.
Okay.
It damaged him. Then his health, his poor health, and then his approval rating fell below 40%. So even though he declined the second term, people are expecting Biden to, but even his running mate did not have it better. So he was defeated.
Kamala Harris says her boss is okay.
Yes, Barack Obama, I keep mentioning Barack Obama, is a stabilizing factor. He sees that Biden is okay.
No, but the two of them are not medical doctors. They
No. When I say okay, I'm talking in terms of the political influence. And who says if Biden appears again, and puts up a superlative performance?
No, he did that already. He came out in North Carolina. He was shouting.
If he keeps, on that trajectory, of course, he can sway the negative opinion, and then, of course, everybody is watching now for Donald Trump to make some false steps, and he will.
But debates don't also win
elections.
The elections.
Look at Obama. He had a weak showing against Trump.
Perhaps just as we say that an examination is not a true test of knowledge.
It's not.
Right? Debatable. Okay, gentlemen, in coasting home, shall we look at incumbency factor here?
Yes.
Is incumbency a factor here?
Not so much of a factor, because Trump was an incumbent president when he lost. So he lost. I don't think that works in America, because you cannot actually control the electoral college by incumbency factor. They are independent. It's an completely independent issue. So whatever influence you have is the influence you have over the electors at the general polls. So such influence don't cross to now be a determining factor at the college. That won't work. So influence for me, so the only thing that can give you an edge over the next man is the way you have led, or the way you have professed to lead. You understand? And if you articulate your points very well, and it touches on exactly what the people expect you to do, and you appear to have the charisma, you appear to have the technical know-how, and perhaps if you have something you have also done in the past that can also corroborate the fact that you actually understand the problems and how to address them, then you are cool and dry. But where you have not done well, I mean, largely speaking, like we see the Democrats are struggling. They had a 4-year opportunity to, do what they ought to do so that by now they will not need to talk too much. But now they are struggling. They have to talk at the top of their voice to convince Americans, to be persuasive and convincing that they've got what it takes to do this. So the electors will decide. Looking at both sides. Yes.
Okay. The index finger of the producer is asking us to wind down. Apply the brakes. But before we do, Emeka, let's quickly look at the impact of emotions when it comes to voting. We reconcile them with the gap between what people say, what the survey polls say, and what people end up doing on election morning.
Yeah, that's what I said, different issues that have to do with politics and don't have to do with politics will count. Of course, the perception about Biden's health, if it changes, positively, it will be a factor. Then Donald Trump, over the possibility of Donald Trump overreaching himself, on some issues that could backfire, is there. The possibility
on the spur of the moment.
Yeah, the possibility of him either trying to overplay, discussion about Biden's health. And so, a video has already come out, where he was said to have called Biden a load of crap.
Oh yeah, I see.
Now, if he plays his hand too hard, Americans might look at it that, wait a minute, Biden isn't faring too badly. Why is Trump, trying to,
play him down?
Yes, play him down. That is, Then, of course, Obama had, had a bad debate against Mitt Romney, but he still won. So it's all about how the Democratic, the DNC machinery, putting together, Obama's influence and the influence of, some other very solid Democrats.
Thank you, Emeka. I know that Barrister Ofeli cannot forget Trump's first coming when he suggested building a wall between the USA and Mexico. And the howler, it was a howler of sorts.
Yes, and that the Mexicans should pay for it. That they will put up the figure for the Mexicans to pay for it. But that's what didn't go down well with a lot of people.
And him flirting with the so-called rocket man of North Korea.
Russia too. Yes, because he was having certain conversation with Putin and the North Korean leader. So the Americans were, many of them were perturbed that why should we have a president, and for the fact that he was also responding to every accusations, whether from a 2-year-old, from a 3-year-old, he will tweet, he will do all sorts. So his excesses became overwhelming. Okay, and the Americans were of the view that
and the January 6th episode didn't help matters.
It didn't help matters at all.
Little wonder, Emeka, when former President Obama got to Ghana and said people should seek to build stronger institutions than stronger.
Speaking to Africa.
Even when we talk about, in Nigeria, when we talk about quote unquote senior client, advanced client, but of course many people viewed Trump, Trump's conduct as being nothing different from a third world dictator. Even though the system stopped him at some point,
Yeah,
you know,
the system ought to do
but
that.
but take note that, you know, in some African countries, for instance, like in Burkina Faso, you know, the people stopped the dictator. Yes, Blaise Compaoré, the people stopped him. You know, yes.
And this is not to say that your neighbor in Cameroon is doing well, but
Well, Cameroon will have his day, and I hope
in the sun.
I hope Cameroon
Cameroon-
Cameroon doesn't
Cameroon's
disintegrate
Cameroon-
because it's going to be.
Cameroon's case is one of the
It's
typical cases.
depressing.
Very depressing.
Yes, it's impressive.
Very depressing.
And whatever will bring a solution, I fear it might not be something.
I heard
Yes.
the Cameroonian leader was somewhere. He reportedly now farted, and an aide said, "Oga," and the man woke up and asked, "Where are we?
What am I supposed to be
What
doing now?
are we doing here?"
Yeah, that's why I say I hope Cameroon doesn't disintegrate by the time its moment comes. You can see what is happening in Kenya. You know, you see that the people have actually said no, and that's the thing. No empire lasts forever. Even the best of systems, the best of economies, can actually even lead to upending. You know, even nice guys.
And the best of tyrants,
Yes.
they will fall.
Yes, so
They will fall with time.
humanity is unpredictable.
With time and with age.
Yeah.
There was a time Rome was
all right, folks.
most talked about.
I hear we must apply the brakes here, but let's thank Barrister Evans Ofeli. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Emeka Madonagu.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very. Let's meet after election morning in America. So the debate, let it continue from your part of town, but our job is done. America decides 2024. The polls swing in a former First Lady's favor. And the question remains, is America ready for a female commander-in-chief? I'm out of here. See you next time. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.